So I'll call the meeting of the Utility Service Board to order. Our first item, I'm stepping in today for Jeff, who had a last minute cancellation or a last minute appointment. So bear with me as I go through this. And was that thunder? Oh, okay. I was like, thought that was a sign of me getting up here. Anyway, so yeah, exactly. The first item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from the August 15th meeting. Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve? Latrina, will you call the vote, please? Oh, actually, no, we don't have to do that anymore. I'm so used to, sorry. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion passes. We'll now go through the approval list of the claims. The first issue is the standard invoices for a total of $1,295,313.37. Are there any questions on the standard invoices?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. On page 3, EDF Inc., EDF Energy Services for Vectren. And then on our utilities accounts, we also have a Vectren with CenterPoint. So I guess and that could have been on there before and it just jumped out at me today. But can you explain the difference of those invoices, please?
Not right now. I'll have to get back to you.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
They did for us, whereas the one you're going to see in the bills is is paying our gas bill.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. That would make sense then.
Okay.
Energy services for Vectren. So, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the standard utility bill, or the standard bills are approved. Next item are utility bills, and that is for a total of $209,162.48. Are there any questions about the utility bills? Hearing none, if there is a motion to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Utility bills pass. Next item are the wire transfers for a total of $363,054.06. Any questions on the wire transfers? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The next item is the customer refunds for a total of $639.20. Are there any questions on the refunds? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's pass. Then we have another a special check run that is for UniFirst Corporation payments. And there's information in the packet about this. Vic, do you want to explain a little bit what's going on with this one before we vote?
I'll leave this one for Matt.
Okay. Matt, by the way, welcome. I'm Amanda. I didn't meet you at the last meeting, so welcome.
We had a issue with getting our invoices from the supplier. So what was happening is they were getting sent in, but we weren't being able to see them all for some reason. So over time, we would pay like the first 5, and then we would miss a couple, and then we'd pay some more. And the supplier never followed up with us or brought this up to us until a lot of the invoices were about 285 days old. So this check is catching us up with the supplier for our uniform charges that we've been missing over the past few months. But we've identified the problem, and we should be good going forward. So,
Are there any other questions of Matt? Were we assessed any type of late fee on this? Okay, good, excellent. So is there a motion to approve this invoice? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Vic?
Good evening, everyone. Vic Kelson, Utilities Director. I'm presenting tonight's consent agenda, which totals $47,050. Item A is to Indiana University for $20,000. This is the MOU for the Union Street stormwater improvements. Item B is to Harold Fish, $10,950. That's an exhaust fan upgrade at the lab at Blucher Pool. And item C is to All Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning for $16,100. It's an air handler and heat pump installation at Blucher Pool. Would any of the members of the board care to listen to any of these items individually? Hearing none, if there's no opposition, the consent agenda will be approved as recommended by staff.
Great.
Hearing no opposition, the consent agenda is approved. Thank you.
Our next item on the agenda is a request for the approval of Resolution 2022-5. This is the bid acceptance and contract award for the Monroe County wastewater treatment plant bar screen replacement project. And Dan Hudson.
For the record, I'm Dan Hudson, the Capital Projects Manager for the City of Bloomington Utilities, and I'd like to request the board, ask the board to accept the bid for Thieneman Construction to do the construction work of the bar screen at the Monroe Water Treatment Plant for $1,554,000. I'm more than willing to have some questions.
Any questions? All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the bid?
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The bid is approved. And I think Dan's going to be back up for the request for the approval of the agreement with Greeley and Hanson for the electrical feeder and bar screen, another electrical feeder and bar screen replacement.
Yeah, I'm Dan Hudson again from Capital Projects Manager, and we've asked Greeley and Hanson to do a design, bid, a construction administration, and an inspection service for the replacement of the bar screens at the Dillman wastewater treatment plant. That also includes 2 electrical feeder lines that need to be replaced at the plant for $317,200. Any questions?
All right. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right. Okay, I guess it's the Dan show, right? Request for the approval agreement with Commonwealth Engineers. This is the second amendment to expand the scope of services for a project.
Yeah, this is Dan Hudson, Capital Projects Manager, and we've asked Commonwealth to put together a package that would go to the state to get state revolving funds, apply for state revolving funds for the study that was just completed by Commonwealth for 4 sanitary lift stations. And they're using the current study as an appendix, and then they're going to apply for the funds. These are funds that are from the recent capital improvement from the feds, and it's all being funneled through the state revolving funds. So hopefully we can get some to do this.
Are there any questions for Dan? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Right. The request passes. The next item is going to be presented by Phil Peden, which is the request for approval of Resolution 2022-06. This is the bid rejection of the Fritz Terrace North Addition project.
Yeah, I feel like I should let Dan go. He's on a roll. Phil P. in Engineering Department, at the last board meeting, we opened up bids for the North Fritz Terrace Sanitary Sewer Rehabilitation Project, and those came in about 50% over our estimate, and that was all due to one line item within the bids that we had actually met with the engineer and discussed taking out and making an alternate. But since we hadn't, and it was in the bid, we have to reject all the bids. What we'll do moving forward is remove that, make it an alternate, so we can still see the price and incorporate it in there, but we have the option to choose it or not choose it when we move forward with the contract. So to get to the next step, we have to reject all these bids and rebid the project. Yes.
And when do you anticipate I mean, obviously, we have to reject them first, but do you expect the RFPs to go out fairly soon?
Yes, we're ready to do the public notices so that we can get it on the
Right.
next board meeting.
Is this one item that was behind the higher bids, then, is that like an important item that we're gonna need to have in there?
Well, it was the lateral lining. So,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Kirk Mr. White had brought that up, and so and we discussed that a little bit in the board meeting, but it's not necessary to the whole project. You know, we still get to do the rehabilitation to the public main. It was just the lateral lining component that exceeded the estimate.
So we don't necessarily, we're not gonna go forward with doing the lateral lines part?
I guess it'll be in the alternate bid, so we could choose to, but it was just exceeded what we have in funding. So,
okay,
so at this
okay.
point, I think the goal of the utility would probably be to do that at a point where we can budget for that, because we do want to see what that innovative idea can do to eliminating I&I, but at this time, since it wasn't in the budget, we'll have to wait for the next time we do a lining project to incorporate that in a 2023, 2024 lining.
Seth, did you have a question too? Okay.
One of the things that we talked about is that, when we talked about last week was whether you need to go 10 feet, whether it's 10 feet or 5 feet or 2 feet. And you want to explain this, Phil?
Sure. So we're looking at, we have an older televising truck that equipment can only visualize up it moves up the sewer main, and then it can look down the laterals, but it can't extend into those. And so we're moving forward with getting a new televising truck that can not only go up the main, but also send the camera up the lateral. And then we can inspect whether or not we need to line 2 feet in that lateral or 10 feet. We can do an assessment of the condition. So our thought process was, if we could wait till the next time we do a lining, we'll have this truck, will be equipped better to have a better analysis of how far into the laterals we should go.
Great. Any other questions or comments? All right. So I take it we do need to vote on this, correct? Okay. So all of those is there a motion to reject the bids?
So moved.
All those in favor? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Motion passes. Okay. So now we're going to go on to old business. Is there any old business from the? Oh, there's one more item. I'm sorry, I do not have that.
It's at the very bottom.
Oh, no, I crossed it off too early. Okay, that's why Jeff does this job, not me. Request for the approval of an agreement with Atlantic Engineering Group, and this is for the use of office space and common areas at Blucher Pool, and this is Vic.
Yes, good evening. We've been working with AEG, Atlantic Engineering Group. They are a subcontractor for Meridium, which is the company that will be implementing the citywide fiber project that the contract was recently entered into. AEG needs space. They need about an acre of space for a yard for laying down materials that they're using on the project and for their trucks. And they need some office space. And they asked around, ITS asked around to find out if there were any city facilities that might be suitable. And it turns out that the Blucher Pool facility met the objectives pretty well. And we suggested to them that they might look at that. They came out and looked at it and said it would be perfect for what they're trying to do. So what we're talking about doing here is leasing them access to part of the large asphalt pad that sits there vacant right now. It hasn't been used in years. It used to be an area where we composted sludge, but we don't do that there anymore. So the idea is that they would use that for their laydown yard, and we have a vacant office space that they could locate their office equipment in. After talking it a bit over with the controller, this is a city project. Really isn't any way to get really good comps on leasing space. So we proposed $500 a month for the lease of the property, and then additional $200 a month for access to our fiber internet connection there at the plant, totaling $700 a month. Basically, this is a very low impact on our staff. It's just making sure the gate's closed. But it would give them the advantage of being in a secure location with controlled access and 24-hour coverage. So it turns out to be a great location for the contractor for doing this work. And it is a city project. It's in support of a city project. It will not disrupt the operation of the plant.
What is that project like? Could you describe?
What they're doing is the plan is to extend fiber, gigabit speed fiber service to essentially every residence in the city. And there will be a 300, my understanding is that there'll be a 300 megabit per second service for $30 that could be offset by a federal subsidy for lower income homeowners. So this project is to extend that fiber service throughout the city. Some of it will be underground, some of it will be above ground.
The reason I ask is that I think a year or so ago in our neighborhood, AT&T did their fiber. Right now, Smithville is doing their fiber, and the city's going to do their. Is there any limit to the number of people who are going to dig up the yards and block the streets?
That's really above my pay grade. It's one of my concerns with any project like the one that they're doing is the possibility of strikes of our buried infrastructure. To the extent possible, if they're leasing from us, I'm hopeful that we'll be able to have an ongoing conversation with them about where our infrastructure is, since they'll be on premises.
So with all this competition for service, it's,
Well, with all this, and I know this probably is not your area of expertise, I'm just going based on what I've read and heard, but this is a company that's coming out of France that's not a local company. And again, nothing against what's been decided here. However, there are multiple use properties that have been put into place with retail and office space around the city. That, first of all, to me, they're getting this for highway robbery, number one, but number two, wouldn't it be better served for them to find someplace within the city areas that are currently vacant when there is space for them? So,
well, they need an acre, at least an acre of space, and that's very difficult to find.
in terms of that, but
And they were
in terms of that, but not for office space. They don't need an acre for office space.
No, they don't need an acre for office space, but it's better to have the office space near where the laydown yard is, of course.
Any other comments at this end?
I have a couple of questions. So I appreciate you answering how you arrived at that price, because that was one of my questions. How will that $700 be spent every month? I mean, does that $200 for the internet cover our cost for the internet out there?
Well, the internet out there is $500 a month, so it offsets part of our cost for internet service there.
So we're really not making anything on it.
No, the purpose of this is to offset whatever it costs us to, we're not trying to make a buck on this, right? Our objective here is to help facilitate the city's project and in an efficient way while accounting for whatever inconvenience there is to the plant,
Okay.
so.
Then my other question was about the plant security. So will these people, I guess, that have access to it have,
They'll have badges to get into the building that they still have to fill out all the same forms that we
Okay.
have to fill out. They'll have badges to enter the building, and they'll have access to the gate.
okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. All those in favor, sorry, is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye, or yay?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All those opposed say nay? Nay. The motion passes. And the next item is old business now, correct?
Yes.
All right, so on old business, do we have any old business from the board? I have one item that is just old business on our previous finance subcommittee. Or sorry, was it the finance or was it?
Property and planning.
Property and planning.
yeah.
Is there going to be an update on that, or will we
Yes,
have?
the chair would report on that.
Oh, I'm rules
She's
and
read
regulations.
rules and regs. I'm talking
Oh,
about.
property and
Property and planning.
Did we have a recommendation last
We were
time?
supposed to have a report or get some information back about the building of the new
Winston Thomas.
Winston
Oh, the
Thomas.
map. The new map.
Yeah, there were several things that committee
Yes, we have a
requested.
new map. Where's Holly? We made beautiful new maps of
Well,
the,
and, well,
of
the
the
maps,
facility.
but there was also some other information that was going to be forthcoming. It's just potentially not ready yet. I take
It's
it.
probably not ready. The map's
Okay.
already, yeah.
All right. So then is there any new business from the board? Any new business from staff? Subcommittee reports.
Yes, thank you. Tonight, the Rules and Regulations Subcommittee met. We had 2 orders of business. Our first one were proposed changes to Section 14, maintenance of the fire lines. These were would be for new developments and be consistent with other departments across the state moving toward this. And Phil, is there anything you'd like to add? Okay, thank you. And the subcommittee was unanimous in our support for this proposed change. Okay. Do we need to vote on that separately?
Do we? If the subcommittee did?
You're going to vote on a rule change to section 14 of the rules.
Okay, I can do that. So hearing that the subcommittee has approved it, is there a motion to approve these proposed changes to Section 14?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right, and there's another item
Thank you.
too?
There's another item. It is proposed changes to Section 24, which is the comprehensive plan. It has to do with annexation of properties who would like to hook up to the city sewer. And the committee voted in favor, although we were not unanimous in this proposal.
All right, are there any questions for the committee? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the proposed changes to Section 24 in the comprehensive plan?
So moved.
All those, all of those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Say-
Oh, nay.
Nay, okay. Thank you, the motion passes. Were there any other subcommittees that met? Okay, good. All right, staff reports. Vic?
The big staff report news is we go to the council with our budget presentation tomorrow night. We are second on the agenda, I believe. The hearing starts at 6. We're optimistic that it will go well. I haven't gotten final word on position change, what positions may or may not have been recommended by the Job Evaluation Committee. I don't have a detailed list of that. So that will be, that's tomorrow night. Other than that, we continue interviewing candidates for assistant director positions. The environmental position closes a week from Wednesday. So we'll be moving ahead with that. Other than that, I really don't have anything additional to talk about.
Great. Thanks, Vic. Are there any other petitions or communications from the board or anyone else? Great. Well, with that, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Great. The meeting is adjourned.